Aha. My audience will see it in a moment. The stream is live. Hello. There we are. There we are. Can you see it? There we are. We are live. Am I live or am I... There we are. Well, doesn't look like anybody there yet, but I'm going to get started anyway. Hi, I'm Steve from Florida, and I'm going to be reading from Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil DeGrasse Tyson. Ah. Hello, Zero. Are you able to hear me and see me all right? Zero? Yes, good, very good. There's about a 7-second delay that seems to be built in here to YouTube Live. Sorry I'm a few minutes late, but I had to take care of some stuff and now I'm done. So you made it home okay, that's good. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I am using, right now we're on YouTube Live, and I'm running this from my MacBook Pro laptop using OBS. And this is a very rudimentary OBS thing. It's not super fancy like some of the things that you see on other people's broadcasts, because I'm just kind of learning it. So anyway, like I said, I have my MacBook Pro computer, my laptop, and has built-in camera, so I didn't have to buy an extra camera. And I'm using, and it requires, when you do it from your laptop, that you have to use encoder software, such as OBS or one of the others. OBS will not run on your PC. Well, OBS is open source, so it probably will run on your PC, but oh, it's for the Mac, isn't it? I think, isn't there a Windows version? There is a Windows version. It took me a long time to figure it out. But yeah, I'm using, there are other ones. OBS is not the only one that works. When you actually go, hey Richie, welcome. When you go to the screen where you start, there's a whole bunch of help things, and one of them lists all the different softwares that you can use instead of OBS if you don't want to use OBS. You know, and there's a lot of them that you can run. but I'm using OBS and it seems to work. And I'm just finishing my my dinner here. And now I'm done. Okay. So above me, you see my name, Steve from Florida. And above that, you see the picture, the same picture that I use in my icon on Periscope. And then I guess it's to my right, so it might be on your left. The other half of the whole half of the screen right now, that was my daughter and her husband. That was Nicole and Andrew. And now it's a picture of the Horsehead Nebula. And now it's a duplicate of my the picture that I use in my icon, and etc., etc. I'm the second person you've watched live today. Yes, but how many dead people have you watched, Richie? Always better to watch them live. That's what I think. So yeah, sorry if you can't run, if you're not able to run OBS on your PC, but there are a lot of other softwares, and YouTube, the help screen tells you a whole list of them. So you could just pick a different one, and see if you can, configure it. They should all have similar fields. You didn't see any dead ones yet. Okay. Well, keep an eye out, because the worst kind are the zombie. The worst bots are the zombie bots, and that of course requires dead people. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my reading, and this is from the book, a continuation of what we did before with Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil DeGrasse Tyson. Let's see, where am I? There. Pioneer wore a golden etched plaque with it showed in scientific pictograms the layout of our solar system. It's talking about Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11. And oh, somebody else is here now. It's showing 3. So speak up. Who's there? And showed in scientific pictograms the layout of our solar system, our location in the Milky Way galaxy, and the structure of the hydrogen atom. Voyager went further and also included a gold record album containing diverse sounds from Mother Earth, including the human heartbeat, whale songs, and musical selections from around the world, including the works of Beethoven and Chuck Berry. While this humanized the message, it's not clear whether alien ears would have a clue what they were listening to, assuming they would have ears in the first place. My favorite parody of this gesture was a skit on NBC's Saturday Night Live shortly after the Voyager launch, in which they showed a written reply from the aliens who recovered the spacecraft. The note simply requested, "Send more Chuck Berry." Cute, huh? Science thrives not only on the universality of physical laws, but also on the existence and persistence of physical constants. The constant of gravitation, known by most scientists as the big G, supplies Newton's equation of gravity with the measure of how strong the force will be. This quantity has been implicitly tested for variation over eons. If you do the math, you can determine that a star's luminosity is steeply dependent on the big G. In other words, if the big G had been even slightly different in the past, then the energy output of the sun would have been far more variable than anything the biological, climatological, or geological records indicate. Such is the uniformity of our universe. Among all constants, the speed of light is the most famous. No matter how fast you go, you will never overtake a beam of light. Why not? No experiment ever conducted has ever revealed an object of any form reaching the speed of light. Well-tested laws of physics predict and account for this fact. I know these statements sound closed-minded. Some of the most boneheaded science-based proclamations in the past have underestimated the ingenuity of inventors and engineers. We will never fly. Flying will never be commercially feasible. We will never split the atom. We will never break the sound barrier. We will never go to the moon. What they all have in common is that no established law of physics stood in their way. The claim we will never outrun a beam of light is qualitatively different prediction. It flows from basic time-tested physical principles. Highway signs for the interstellar travelers of the future will justifiably read, "The speed of light. It's not just a good idea, it's the law." Many natural phenomena manifest multiple physical laws operating at once. This fact often complicates the analysis and in most cases requires high-performance computing to calculate what's going on and to keep track of important parameters. When comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 plunged into Jupiter's gas-rich atmosphere in July of 1994 and then exploded, the most accurate computer model combined the laws of fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, kinematics, and gravitation. Climate and weather representing the other leading examples of complicated and difficult to predict phenomenon, but the basic laws governing them are still at work. Jupiter's Great Red Spot, a raging anticyclone that has been going strong for at least 350 years, is driven by identical physical processes that generate storms on Earth and elsewhere in the solar system. Richie, are you drinking again? Another class of universal truths is that the conservation laws, where the amount of some measured quantity remains unchanged no matter what. The three most important are the conservation of mass and energy, the conservation of linear and angular momentum, and the conservation of electric charge. These are laws in evidence on Earth, and everywhere we have thought to look, from the domain of particle physics to the large-scale structure of the universe. You had a Pepsi. Ha! In spite of all this boasting, all is not perfect in paradise. It happens that we cannot see, touch, or taste the source of 85% of the gravity we measure in the universe. This mysterious dark matter, which remains undetected except for its gravitational pull on what matter we see, may be composed of exotic particles that we have yet to discover or identify. A small minority of astrophysicists, however, are unconvinced and have suggested that there is no dark matter. You just need to modify Newton's law of gravity. Simply add a few components to the equations and all will be fixed. And Zero needs a beer. That wasn't the lag, that was just me, because when I look, I'm not looking at the comments when I'm reading because I'm looking at the iPad. So when I finally picked my head up, oh, Zero needs a beer. Richie, could you get Zero a beer? Thanks, buddy. Perhaps one day we will learn that Newton's gravity indeed requires adjustment, and that'll be okay. It has happened once before. Einstein's 1916 general theory of relativity expanded on the principles of Newton's gravity in a way that also applied to objects of extremely high mass. Newton's law of gravity breaks down in this expanded realm, which is unknown to him. The lesson here is that our confidence flows through the range of conditions over which a law has been tested and verified. The broader that range, the more potent and powerful the law becomes in describing the cosmos. For ordinary household gravity comes in describing the cosmos. I just said that. Never mind. For ordinary household gravity, Newton's law works just fine. It got us to the moon and returned us safely to the Earth in 1969. For black holes and large-scale structure of the universe, we need general relativity. And if you insert low mass and low speeds into Einstein's equations, they literally, or rather mathematically, become Newton's equations. All good reasons to develop confidence in our understanding of all we claim to understand. What kind of a sentence is that? I didn't write it. Let's see. It's supposed to do that. Okay. You don't have any because you don't drink. Well, sure, that's what you tell us. How do we know that that's true? To the scientist, the universality of physical laws makes the cosmos a marvelously simple place. By comparison, human nature, the psychologist's domain, is infinitely more daunting. In America, local school boards vote on subjects to be taught in the classroom. In some cases, votes are cast according to the whims of cultural, political, or religious tides. Around the world, varying belief systems lead to the political differences that are not always resolved peacefully. The power and beauty of physical laws is that they apply everywhere, whether or not you choose to believe in them. So when Richie says things like, I don't want to be bound by physical laws, well, sorry, Richie, everybody is, whether they like it or not. In other words, after the laws of physics, everything else is an opinion. Not that scientists don't argue. We do, a lot. But when we do, we typically express opinions about the interpretation of insufficient or ratty data on the bleeding frontier of our knowledge. Wherever and whenever a physical law can be invoked in the discussion, the debate is guaranteed to be brief. No, your idea for a perpetual motion machine will never work. It violates well-tested laws of thermodynamics. No, you can't build a time machine that will enable you to go back and kill your mother before you were born. It violates causality laws. And without violating momentum laws, you cannot spontaneously levitate and hover above the ground. Whether or not you are seated in the lotus position, it doesn't matter. The knowledge of physical laws can, in some cases, give you the confidence to confront surly people. A few years ago, I was having a hot cocoa nightcap at a dessert shop in Pasadena, California. Ordered it with the whipped cream, of course. When it arrived at the table, I saw no whipped cream. You guess he didn't, yeah, he guess he didn't, obviously he didn't watch Star Trek. Exactly. When his hot cocoa arrived at the table, he saw no trace of whipped cream. After he told the waiter, "My cocoa has no whipped cream," he asserted that I couldn't see it because it sank to the bottom. But whipped cream has low density and it floats on all liquids that humans consume. So I offered the waiter two possible explanations. Either somebody forgot to add the whipped cream to my cocoa, or the universal laws of physics were different in his restaurant. Unconvinced, he defiantly brought over a dollop of whipped cream to demonstrate his claim, and after bobbing once or twice, the whipped cream rose to the top and floated. What better proof do you need of the universality of physical laws? Okay, that's as far as I'm going to read tonight because it ended the chapter. We just did all of chapter 2. That was okay. Yeah, he didn't watch Star Trek. I wonder who this third person who doesn't want to talk to us is. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because they don't want to talk. So this is my YouTube live, and let's see. Oh, I have to go to. Okay, now when I go, so I'm going to go and end the stream, and that is our little scope for tonight. It's after 9 o'clock, so we've been on for about 20-25 minutes, but it's getting late, and you all have work and stuff in the morning, so I didn't want to stay too late with this. Richie is not a fan of Star Trek. Richie, stuff like that is going to get you blocked. Can I add other videos? Yes, I can. This is just kind of what I'm starting with. I'm using these to learn more about OBS. Eventually, I'm going to have it so there'll be two video things. There'll be a split screen. So I could have you guys come in and we could be side by side talking and everybody will hear both of us. So we could do it for interviews, we could do it for playing games, we could do it for, we could do it for whatever else we think of. So, but right now, like I say, I'm still learning and I don't know how to do all that fancy stuff yet. But this is where I'm at so far. So on the right, let's see, that's a sunset. No, that one's a sunrise. That one's a sunrise. That's my daughter, Nicole, from a few years ago. Periscope should step up. Well, Periscope doesn't do it. They are leaving it to third parties because there's a whole bunch of companies out there that have already done the work. They're just basically telling us to put it all together ourselves. So maybe they should step up, but, that's your opinion. Maybe it's my opinion. Maybe it's Richie's, but it's not Periscope's. So there you go. Periscope see, but Periscope don't do. Anyway, I'm going to let you all go. Thanks for coming to the broadcast. And you saw it live. It actually worked. And, oh, that's Denise. I had a picture of her. She sent me a Snapchat thing with the bunny rabbit ears filter on. And that is, yeah, you don't want one of those in your rear view mirror. That could be bad. Oh, look at that. It's Blinky Bill. Hello, Bill. Welcome to the broadcast. This is a bonus scope from tonight for after I announced during the sunset scope earlier today. And we're just wrapping it up now. So, but thanks for coming on. Glad you made it. And because it's after 9 p.m. here, and so we're going to wrap it up, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the sunset scope, 5:35 p.m. Eastern Time, and Blinky Bill will be singing and dancing along with the rest of us, if he goes. All right, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Now, how do I get to this?